All right, today's project, which will be probably over the next couple weeks, got a 2019 Chevy Equinox here, and we are going to rebuild it. First things first, we're going to scan this puppy. So if anybody's curious, see that? That's a deployed airbag. So the first step that I'm going to do, because it's going to be the longest process most likely, so I'm going to figure out what all set in the airbag system, and I'll show y'all how to fix anything when you have deployed airbags after collision. So let me get my scanner hooked up and I'll be right back.
What you thinking, man? The official, let me get these lines up. Yes.
All right, here we are, car running. So you'll see airbag light on, service safety restraint system on the dash here. Obviously, we have a deployed airbag. I haven't even checked it, but I know, yeah. See, we got blown seat belts. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna figure out how bad this is. Anything is repairable though, so it's not the end of the world. The only thing that I don't personally touch is if you blow the dash airbag, unless it's a cartridge. So like the steering wheel airbag is a cartridge. I'm gonna pull this whole cartridge out. We're gonna put a new one in. Wham bam dunzo. Over here, it's gonna blow a hole in the dash. So you're gonna have to repair that or replace the entire dash, which is kind of a bitch. So like, not something I wanna do. When we get to the SRS module, that's where we need to get answers. So there's gonna be 12 codes set in here. So the things we're looking for is which impact sensors set off, because those are gonna have to be replaced. Which seatbelt set codes, because those are going to have to be rebuilt or replaced, and whether or not any hard codes got stored. So there's such thing as called a hard code, where if your collision's bad enough, the SRS module will store it and it's unclearable. If that's the case, it's not the end of the world. This same company that rebuilds seatbelts will also rebuild an SRS module, so they can reflash it with the EE prom reader and just put it back to stock, and then you're good to go. It's who do I use? It's been a while. I think they're called safety restraint or something, safety restore. Oh no, I just Google it every time, and I've worked with the same company. I always recognize them. I've done it a few times now, and they're pretty daggum good. By pretty good, I mean I've never had a single issue with anything they've given me. So yeah, this is all the information I needed right now. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to go get some tools, and we're going to pull the steering wheel airbag, and we're going to pull the driver and passenger seat belt. All right, step one is to remove the steering wheel airbag. So what I did is I just grabbed this little Torx wrench here, this little Allen wrench. You just press them up in these little holes, and we're going to press this until it releases. I wish I still had my headset, but I've done lost it. Here, I'll set it over here and see what happens. There it went. Okay. All right, so you'll see whenever you go up through these holes on the side, right? You see that little lever moving? You're pressing up on these to release that at the same time. And when you do it, you'll see it's pulling up on this bottom one as well. So there's actually a third prong down here at the bottom side. So you got to get all those released. Now, it looks like the clock spring plug is actually really accessible on this, which is not that common. One of the things you have to worry about is when airbags deploy, they have a lot of heat when they fire. So a lot of times these plugs will melt, which is the last thing you want to deal with. If you look underneath this plug here, it melted. So both plugs completely melted to the airbag. So what we're gonna have to do now is get a new clock spring plug. So this plug that plugs in here, and then also runs over to these controls. So we'll get that replacement plug whenever we do this as well. In the meantime, I am going to snip these wires, just right here, so that way I can get rid of this piece of shit. Then we will press forward, getting the seat belts removed. All right, so I'm gonna pull the driver's side seat belt, and once I get this pulled, then I'll probably stop filming. I'll pull the other side because it's identical, just inversed. For the most part, these always seem to be pretty much the same across the board with just about any manufacturer, minus a few changes here and there. But typically somewhere up on the top side, you'll have like this little airbag clip. Whenever I pull this, there'll most likely be a 10 millimeter behind that. We'll pull that 10 millimeter, it'll all be clips pulled directly out. Same down here, we'll pull this out, it'll be clipped in. We'll most likely have to pull up this front and back floorboard panel. So yeah, we'll do, pull this up, pull this off, pull this off. This hooks into this one typically. So top one right here at this seam actually sits into this one. This one comes up higher underneath it, up into here. So 10 millimeter or 8 millimeter or whatever the hell the bolt size is, that will be behind here. Pull the top panel, pull these panels, pull this panel. That will expose the bottom side of the seat belt, which is normally like a giant Torx, like a T55 Torx. So we'll pull that out. That part of it will be free. And then we'll work up to the front side here. So you can see I actually already did this. You can unbolt it here, but this is the pre-tensioner. It runs down underneath this plastic here. So we'll pull this plastic as well and pull the pre-tensioner so we have the entire unit. And we're gonna need that unit on both sides to get sent off to be rebuilt. So let me grab some tools real quick. All right, so typically when removing interior panels, you want to use a trim stick. I couldn't get it in here, so I'm going to very, very carefully slide this pointy pick up in here. See if we can't get some leverage. Ugh, no, this is why you want to use plastic if you can. There we go. See how it nicked just a smidgen right there? Will anybody ever notice that? Probably not, but if you use plastic, that won't happen. So what we got in there, it actually looks like an 8 millimeter. So we'll pull that 8 millimeter. This panel will be ready to pop off. All right, 7 mil is actually 7 millimeter. It's out of there. Now we're gonna use this trim stick. We're gonna get up here, see what we gotta do to pop this puppy free. Holy hell. All right. So look, literally just these metal clips right here. That's what it was held into, right there. That thing locked it in well. Holy hell, son. So, all right, with this panel free, so you'll see, so this has to just hang here now. I'll get this lower panel off. Once the lower panel is off, then you'll see how this works. Basically, you undo this Torx bolt up here. There's another one at the bottom. I'll break this loose down here where I had this 10 mil exposed. That will slide through this plastic. All right, see, so I just literally pulled straight up right here on this one. I'm gonna go do the same thing on this side. So we'll fish this guy up in here if possible. If not, we'll work our fingers under. Here we go. All right, I gotta put the camera down. I gotta have 2 hands for this. All right, essentially what I did is I pulled up with this hand while using my right hand to fish my trim stick under while applying upward pressure with my actual hand on the plastic. So that's all free. So now, let's see if we can't get it free from the wall. There's a push pin right there. Okay, that's out. Here's a push pin right there. Oh my God. That's gonna make it for an interesting time. So I don't know if GM has done this or not. Other manufacturers have said that their panels are one-time use only. So you gotta be careful when you take them out. Obviously, I just broke 3 chintzy ass plastic pieces on this fucking thing, man. Not 1, not 2, but 3. So this is, I just don't understand how they hold so good. These are incredible, these clips here, but oh no, we'll cross this bridge whenever it's time to put it back together. This Torx bit down here and this Torx bit bolt up here. So when these two Torxes come off, this whole part of the seat belt will be free. Also this push pin right here. So we'll remove all those things and get this part of the seat belt released and free. All right, this one is a T50, which is what I seem to recall most of them being. Alright, and unlike airbags, I have never seen a seatbelt get hot on the plug when it blows. So, oh shit, there's a 10 mil up there too. Okay. Airbag. We were trying to pull up the little tabs, but they were stuck. We couldn't pull up the side tabs. I hope so. But you'll see, I just literally, these little orange tabs on the side, you pull both of them up at the same time. See, and then it just unplugs right away. So here we are. This is the retractor for the driver's side seat belt. So they put these little safety clips on the bolts at the factory. That is just for ease of assembly. I'm gonna remove that with some dikes. I never trust these people or these places whenever you send it in that you're gonna get all of your parts back. So I like to have all of the fasteners and whatnot off of this thing if possible. So I'm gonna pull these little retainer clips and get the bolts out and just screw them back in the hole while we send these off and wait. So now let me work on getting this seat undone, and we'll get that pre-tensioner out, and then cut these little retainers off, put the bolts back in the holes, and voila, this driver's side will be ready to go. All right, so finally got this panel off. It actually sits in here like this, right up underneath. So you have this little tab, you pop that out, and there is a little T30 Torx underneath. You unscrew that. Once you've unscrewed that, you slide the whole plastic panel rearward so you can release the backside here forward, and then slide the whole thing front. And then you'll notice that when you flip it over, there's a push pin holding the pre-tensioner plug onto the pre-tensioner. But I'm actually just gonna leave that there. Actually no, I'll get it off. Maybe GM's been doing it for longer than I realized, I don't know. But there it is. Oh wait, let me unplug this. And there we go. That's how you remove the seat belt. All right, I actually planned on doing this side off camera, but then I had a realization, even though it's pretty obvious, I figured I'd mention it. So you'll notice on this side that the pre-tensioner and the retractor have both blown. I think it was only the pre-tensioner on the driver's side, which is why you could still pull this. This is as tight as it can possibly get. So what you want to do in this situation is start with the easiest part to separate the belt to give you slack again. Because as it sits right now, I can't move the seat. It's blown out and it's tight, so it's restricting it. No matter what, the prices are so good that I'd rather them. I'm pretty sure they're going to charge me for repairing both, even if only one part needs repair. But it's cheap and the time is more valuable to me, so I just send in both no matter what, because I want to make sure that my product is good and ready to go back together. All right, last follow-up. Both seat belts are out. I'm going to get ready to send those off. I looked into the B52 code in the SRS module. It is a 100% clearable code, so we are good to go. No SRS rebuild, just the seat belts. So I'm going to get the order in, and I'll actually video or try and figure out how to screen capture the website that I use. And then, yeah, we'll get these mailed off, dude, and when they come back, we can reinstall, and the interior will be ready to go.